All right, the next little quick hit that we're going to talk about is kind of the resets that we have built around the product. So a lot of times our customers, when they want to test out environment, we do that by doing the sync offline by itself. Okay, so when you do a test, just like when you're using NetSuite or any other product, Acumatica, any of these other products, QuickBooks Online, you do have to buy an instance because we do have to set up an instance, and it does take a little bit for that. So we have them pay for the month. We haven't had anybody canceling quite yet. But then when we come in and we have our you come in and you're messing around with your different accounts, your different lists, you're messing around with everything. You're dragging columns around, as a user, you're going in and kind of really moving things around. So under our settings here, we do have the ability under appearance to reset grid layouts. And that's basically saying go back through the product and put it back to its original order through the entire thing. Okay, now we do have that on some screens where you can reset just that screen, but so as an example, when I come into the Customer Center, I have transactions. I do have a reset grid layouts here just for this screen, but if you want to do it across the entire instance for yourself, then you can do that. The second thing that we have as a in-product allowance is under the resync data. So again, we are dealing with two different databases. And inside of the QuickBooks product, there are troubleshooting tips and tricks for when things are off, right? So sometimes it's miscalculating the way that the customer totals are happening. Our AR is off from the AR balance sheet is off from the AR aging or things like that. One of the first things that they tell you to go do is resort the list because it's kind of like resetting the calculator, right? Somewhere along the line, something has messed up the calculator. And we wanted to have something similar in product here too. Now this is something that's common in all softwares. They have something that you go and you kind of say like, recount. You got it wrong, so go recount. So coming in, you can come in and select the transaction type or the list type and go ahead and resync selected. What it's going to do is when we're generally running the sync is doing whatever changed, right? It's saying, did this change? Yes. Okay, fix the change. Did this change? Yes. Okay, fix the change. Now, if for any reason you notice they're getting off in products, you can come in and come to the resync data. And what that's going to do is it's going to not delete, right? It's not going to delete, but it's going to retie out from the beginning instead of just looking at what changed last. Hopefully that makes sense. So I can come in here to the bill, I hit resync. There is a warning in here because when you go through resync, it's not going to pick up what has changed, right? Because it's saying, so if I go in, I say, fix everything, and during the fix everything, somebody changes something that I was fixing, it's not going to pick it up as a change because it thinks it's starting from scratch, right? So it's like a small period of time where it can possibly get out of sync, which you can just go resync it again. So recommended to do this only as admins, recommended only to do this in the after hours. And of course, for the first couple, just call us and we'll do it with you. Once you hit, it says 10 to 40 minutes, but I mean, it doesn't take that long. In this file, I barely have any transactions, so it won't take that long. So I can go ahead and say yes. And then the resync will just start. In the meantime, it says you're not going to be allowed to resync any other data, and then it's going to go through and work. So when you're running this, you run it, walk away, come back to it. But that is a way for us to go in and kind of reset if we feel like something is getting off. One of the things that we I made very clear that I wanted to do when it came to the CX product is I wanted to make sure that there was consulting opportunities that are in your fingertips, where some softwares you have to call them. There's no self-help kind of steps that you can go through. And so with the CX product, that is not going to be the case. All right. The last piece is if we wanted to completely reset the entire database. Now that is something that you can do. It's a complete wipe of the database. We do maintain a copy of your reset, right? So we maintain backup copies for 30 or 60 days. I don't know off the top of my head, of course, but we do maintain backup copies of the databases so that you could revert back to one of those backup copies. But let's say, again, what a lot of our clients are doing in the beginning is they're saying, I want to go in and play around with the data, but I don't want it to connect to my QuickBooks file yet. So what we do is we do a one-time sync all the data up into here, let them play around in it. And again, they do pay for the instance for this, so they pay for that 1 month. And then once they feel comfortable, then when we're ready to sync it to QuickBooks, sometimes they've gone in and put in dummy data, right? They've gone in and put in a whole bunch of vendors that don't exist, a whole bunch of customers that don't really exist, and transactions. So they'll come to us and they'll say, I need to wipe data and do a fresh sync. In order to do that, right now at least, we might consider doing this in the future as an end product for only certain types of users. But right now, you just give us a call, say we need to wipe to do a complete resync, and then we will wipe this data file and then allow you to go in and completely resync it, okay? We will require everything written in writing, so there will be an email submission that has to happen to show that this is what is we need resyncing. We've gone through it before where customers have asked us to wipe like QBO files, and then they gave us the wrong ID to wipe. And now, of course, in this situation, it's far less serious than wiping QBO because QuickBooks is what's housing the data. We can always repull the data from QuickBooks. But if we ever get into the times where we are maintaining data in CX and not in QuickBooks, like non-posting transactions, then that's where we would want to be really tight on it and make sure we understand what we are asking for. Okay, so those are kind of some of the ways to reset, right, that we have talked about besides, resetting on the chart of accounts, which we talked about in previous videos.